Come on down to Cinemassacre Video, where selection is the name of the game. We got comedy, drama, action, horror, movies for kids, movies for mom and dad. We got the newest releases, the hottest video games, even Laserdisc. Having a problem making a selection? Our friendly staff is always there to help out, and with our state-of-the-art database software, it's easy to find exactly what you're looking for, even if it sucks. Today's featured rental, the arcade smash hit come to life, Street Fighter. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, Ming-Na Wen, Kylie Minogue, Miguel Nunez Jr., Damian Chapa, Byron Mann, Wes Studi, Grandel Bush, Roshan Seth, Andrew Brynjarski, Robert Mamone, Jay Tavere, Peter Tuiasosopo, and Kenya Sawada, featuring Greg Rainwater and the uniforms from Surf Ninjas. Cinemassacre Video in the Voorhees Memorial Shopping Center next to Caldor.
Hey, I put like $60 in this thing and it won't come out.
Oh, $60?
Yeah, I think I might have jammed it.
Worth of pennies?
Well, how old is the dandy in here?
Oh, that can't. Well, it's probably about 30 years.
That's not bad.
That's not too bad.
It's a little. It's younger than me, so what's the problem?
Well, it's this century, so as long as you know, because bubble gum, you know, it's just like, hey, how you
man,
doing?
I'm back, and I'm returning my favorite film I've ever seen in my entire life.
I have yet to meet someone whose favorite film of all time is Street Fighter, the movie, which is just called Street Fighter. Because when you rented this, I actually thought I was giving you the Sony Chiba movie, The Street Fighter. Yeah.
No, a lot of people always try to offer that to me, but I'm like, no, sir. Let me tell you. Oh, good. My seat is here.
Yeah, please walk over here, and we'll review.
And let's talk about it.
Real quick, before I get confused, which Street Fighter movie is this? The one with the guy from Black Eyed Peas and the girl from Smallville?
No, that is the bad Street Fighter movie.
Oh, there's a good Street Fighter movie.
Yes.
How many Street Fighter movies?
There's a few, actually. I mean, there's Street Fighter... There's Street Fighter 2, the motion picture, which is the anime.
Oh, which I have right here.
Yes.
The Street Fighter, I think, invented the X-ray punch, where he punches him and it goes into like a skull.
There's that one, Street Fighter with Sonny Chiba. There's Sister Street Fighter, which is like a sequel to it, I think.
That's right, yeah.
There's Street Fighter Alpha, the movie, which is awful.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst. That's actually a really terrible, like, don't ever, it's awful. and I'm not even exaggerating. This is my favorite movie of all time. I've seen it more than any other film. I've literally seen this movie, no exaggeration, hundreds of times. I got that movie as a child. My dad bought it for me on VHS. I wasn't allowed to see it in theaters because my mom was like, no, it's too violent. She used to call Street Fighter Kick Him Till He's Dead.
I'd rather see that movie, Kick Him Till He's Dead.
That's an Offspring song. Kick him when he's down.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to watch it in theaters, so my dad got it for me. And I used to just put it on repeat like the whole weekend. Yeah. I would just literally the whole weekend. So I'd watch it like, I mean, how many times in a day I would...
It's funny because people ask me to review it, like, for probably they gave up by now, but so many years. It was like, I finally got around to Mortal Kombat, but this is a movie I've really never seen much because it was so weird and confusing to me because I'm like, okay, like, to begin with, taking the video game and making it into a movie, it's not that easy.
Especially in that era.
Yeah, and they have so many characters to work with. And they put up like pretty much all of them into this movie. And they have to sort of invent, a story for each one. And even though the game does have some plot to it, but to make a movie, it's sort of created this weird world where, take it this way. Like, imagine if you watched Street Fighter the movie without having seen the game. Like, imagine if you never played the game.
Which is what happened with me when I was a kid. I never played. I knew it was a game. I was more of a Mortal Kombat kid, and I liked the Mortal Kombat movie.
Exactly. I love the Mortal Kombat movie. Saw it in the theater and everything.
I will say, Mortal Kombat, the movie, might be actually like my second favorite.
Okay. that's not a great movie, but I still that's why I can't make fun of you for this. I'm like, oh wait, but I like Mortal Kombat. I've seen that movie a lot of times. It's not much better.
I felt like Mortal Kombat, the movie, felt a little more like the game. But I don't know. I mean, they do have like some of the moves. You know, Guile does like the kick. You know?
He does his flash kick.
There's a lot of shoehorn stuff from the game in this movie.
I mean, considering because we read a lot about how they made this movie and all the problems. Considering the egos and the location and all the problems they had with it, I'm surprised there even was a movie. So,
well, like as a kid, I was like. To be honest, that's another thing, was the first video game I ever played was Street Fighter 2. Because my family, like I said, my mom didn't want me to see this. She didn't want me playing video games. She thought I'd turn into like, I guess what I am today. I remember I was at a pizzeria. I saw a Street Fighter 2 machine. I thought it was Double Dragon because at the time I couldn't even read. It was like, and I could read, but I couldn't read what the hell it said. Okay. And I always played as Guile, because when I heard the second you hear Guile's music the first time, that's like pretty ridiculous music to hear in a video game. Like it's really good. And I thought Ryu, I thought was Roy. I used to just always call him Roy all the time.
Actually, speaking of that, in this movie, I think they pronounce it 2 different ways. I think most of them seem to say Ryu. Bison, I think, says Ryu.
Bison's the only person.
It says it right.
But
but it's actually, I've been corrected. It's supposed to be like one syllable, and you're supposed to roll the R, so it's supposed to be like Ryu, Ryu. And actually, it might have been this movie, but somebody sent me a link of where they cut together every part in the anime, which I guess is this one. I don't know. It might be another, but it has every part where they say his name. And it's just Ryu, Ryu, Ryu. So now I can't say it any other way.
And I think Ryu was really well cast in this. It's what's his name, Byron
Man,
and he's still kicking ass. He was on Arrow the first season. He like annihilates a bunch of dudes on the island.
What'd you think about Van Damme's casting? I mean, Van Damme's great, but it's
kind of weird because like Mortal Kombat was going to be a Van Damme game, and then it wasn't. And then he was going to be Johnny Cage's Mortal Kombat movie, and then he wasn't. And then for some reason, he went all in on Street Fighter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, probably at the time, too, if you think about it, Capcom was way bigger than Midway was. I mean, Midway had its arcade things, but I mean, Capcom by this time had, Mega Man. It had, it was already hitting the arcades with like Final Fight, Street Fighter, and Street Fighter 2, which, came way before the movie, because Street Fighter 2 was 91. So that was like that was the first like giant arcade craze since like Pac-Man, really. Like Street Fighter 2 completely revitalized the arcades. Like I remember when I was a kid, you could not go anywhere without seeing a Street Fighter 2 machine. And then that was the first time I remember having to pop 50 cents into an arcade game was when Champion Edition came out. And and I was like, whoa, I can play as
that
the
game's
boss
still
characters.
Everywhere. Like if you go to any place that has an arcade machine, even if they have just like 1 or 2 in the corner somewhere, it's always got to be Street Fighter. But actually, just for the record, Van Damme, I mean, I thought he was a weird choice. Yeah. I'm saying in general, he's great. He's a great action and everything. But in this movie, it's kind of like, why is he Guile?
Yeah.
Kind of like
there could have been. I mean, I don't know who else I would have gotten to play Guile at the time. That is like
Dolph Lundgren,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dolph Lundgren, 100%.
Dolph Lundgren, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he would cost way too much.
But
that's why you go with Dolph Lundgren.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is still like, if you're going by like Guile is America, because if in the game he is
it's
like
the World Warrior where every character is from a different place. So I think they should have all been from their places.
Yeah. Even though there are 3 American Street Fighter guys, like there's Ken, Guile, and Balrog, who are all they're all from America. And everyone, and then there's 2 Japanese guys.
Yeah, I still have the whole like M Bison Balrog thing.
Yeah.
Which it's supposed to be Mike Tyson, but then they had to switch it because Tyson would beat someone up.
M Bison is really Vega. Vega is Balrog, and Balrog is M Bison.
Yeah, in Japan. Yeah.
There's an article that just came out recently of what it was like to work on this movie. Apparently, Jean-Claude Van Damme was like impossible to work with.
Really?
Yeah.
According to himself, he did $10,000 worth of cocaine a week during the production. And then there were some days he didn't show up to set because he wanted to work out and make his muscles bigger.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got a movie to film. He's like, no, I have to work on my muscles.
When I was a kid, I didn't know who the hell Jean-Claude Van Damme was before this movie. Like, I just knew he's Guile. Like, okay. But when I first like looked at it, and like I'm reading the front of the cover, and I'm like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia, like that's like It's
Raul Julia's last film.
He's probably the best as Bison.
Oh
in the movie
yes,
people say that
bar none. Because the best part of the movie.
Because he plays it like a Batman 66 villain where he knows what it is.
Yeah.
He put like you hear the behind the stories where like he just got done getting surgery on his stomach. He was still dying of cancer, but he still put in the work to research he was researching like terrorist leaders.
His kids love Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll do it for them.
And everyone said that like he was like amazing to work with, even despite all the stuff he was dealing with physically.
Really had him up on those strings and stuff at times.
Yeah, there was a few times. There was a stunt double that they use in the video game also, because the video game is obviously not Raul Julia. But
they're not gonna roll him out.
Oh, you mean Street Fighter the movie?
Which actually, another thing about the game, what's his name? T-Hawk is not in the game. And the thing was, part of the contract was after the movie was finished, they had to go into a green room and do all the the digitized things. T-Hawk got his check and just bounced. Like he was done. He left. Never to be seen again. Like he is the only one who is not in. Even DJ is in the game.
You could have done they could have just did the regular Street Fighter 2, but they went to the Super Street Fighter 2 catalog.
And
T-Hawk, DJ.
Well, it's because Capcom wanted to push the new game.
And the writer-director Stephen E. D'Souza, which this is like the tail end of his blockbuster career. Okay. He was like kind of annoyed. He's like, can we limit it to 7? They're like, nah. Put this guy in, but that guy, he's like, all right, I guess Vega's gonna have 2 scenes, and then we'll just stand in the back.
This is like a Marvel, Phase 10
and then they added
but without the setup. They just threw everyone in at once.
They just skipped to and I know they tried to do that now, they did an origin, Chun-Li movie, recently.
Yeah, it was unconnected.
So one of it literally is almost unwatchable. If you've never seen it, just don't. I mean, unless you really were like,
it's disappointing. I heard that. I didn't see it. But,
it's unbelievable how bad it is. And also, the guy who plays Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat movie is in it as Gen, he's from Street Fighter 1 and Alpha. But it's like, Gen is this old kung fu master guy, and it's Robin Shu playing him. He's
the Bison sucks. It's a good actor, but he's just in a business suit. It's like, oh, where's the red?
Well, that's the thing.
The cave.
Back to Raul Julia, he is, I think, straight up the best part of this whole movie.
Absolutely.
His monologue about Pax Bisonica.
Yeah.
And the Tuesday, it was a Tuesday line.
That is my favorite. Oh my god.
That is probably one of the coldest villain lines, I think, in the history of any bad guy.
What is the line again?
When he says to Chun-Li, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Yes,
and she just looks at him that is I
appreciate because Bison's saying so on Tuesday we go to the towns, we shoot the magistrate in the back, and then we just go on to the next town. It's a very I'd like to see Bison's weekly schedule.
Can I talk about one of the greatest scene that I think, and possibly one of the greatest scenes in cinema, is even though I told you I'm not super thrilled about this movie, but this one moment is just incredible. Is at the Bison Guile fight, how it ends.
Yeah.
So let's go through this shot by shot. I mean, first of all, after Bison gets electrified, and then he starts levitating, and there's a shower of sparks behind him, and he says, "For I beheld Satan as he fell from heaven like lightning," and then he starts flying toward Guile, and then you see he does this roundhouse kick to Bison.
It's a crazy kick,
and they
and then they do the three angles of it.
So you see it 3 times, and you don't even know what's going on at this point. Then Bison is flying backwards, as if they didn't even when he flew at him. If they just let him swing back,
it's Raul Julia too, going
and
back towards the camera.
Then he comes to an abrupt stop, sort of jiggles there on the string, as more sparks, just a rain shower of sparks come by, and then Guile jumps out of the way as everything explodes. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Why were those TVs so flammable and explosive?
Well, they're made from Bison tech.
Yeah, I guess the what's it called? Superconductor to electromagnetism. And all that,
they're filled with mutagen. You don't know what's going on.
Not to mention when he's on the controls, he's got the 6 buttons and the joystick.
That was so clever. The stupid control panel. I'm like, that's fine. Leave it in.
Yeah, I'm okay.
It's better than the Super Mario Brothers. Whatever.
I wish it was actually Street Fighter if it had the moves on it.
Yeah. Well, they put fucking Capcom on that barrel during the Magic Act.
Yeah, that's
weird.
Really?
What does that have to do with anything?
That whole part is kind of just weird. Actually, there's in the deleted scenes of the DVD. There's a whole setup to that scene. You know, they drive the truck of explosives.
My favorite scene. This is my favorite scene in the movie. When they're all watching the TV and the truck is coming, and then they look and see the truck, and then
Zangief is like
Zangief, who's an actor I met. He was kind of an asshole. He looks at the TV and just goes, "Quick, change the channel."
Yeah, that was good.
And Miguel Nunes Jr., one of my favorite actors.
Balrog.
No, Miguel Nunes Jr.
He's
is DJ.
DJ.
Oh, I'm a DJ.
He gives him the best look where he's like,
Yeah,
just looks at.
He does that a few times. He's like his comic relief.
I love Miguel Nunes Jr. He's like in some of my favorite B movies.
No, that scene is great. The movie's got actual good, like in the beginning when Ken and Ryu are trying to sell the guns to Sagat, and they do the whole like startup, like you think they're gonna just get shot, and then it's all Nerf guns.
Oh
and, like I remember as a kid, I was like, man, those are some really badass Nerf guns. Like those are the coolest ones I've ever seen in my life.
We also have the Ken Ryu scene where, like, you know, Guile works on them and they figure out a plan where they're going to escape so that Sagat trusts them. But I guess they didn't tell all the soldiers because they start shooting live ammo at them. Because they're like, you know, like Guile clearly had a fake gun or was trying to miss. And then he gets, like, you know, shot by him.
I just thought it was weird that there was, like, so much gunplay in the movie where it's street fighting. There should be more, like, hand-to-hand
more street fighting.
Well, that's the thing is, T-Hawk stops them from shooting because there's a part where they go to pull the guns out and he goes, "No!"
Yeah, I know, but that car gets lit up so many times. Before.
And then Chun-Li throws she does her flip to...
There's also a scene where Guile's dead. He's on the ground, and the guys with the stretcher come over and just drop the stretcher on his hand. You should watch it.
Yeah,
he pulls it away like instinctively, like they just cram it on his hand, and someone like lifts his hand up.
Oh wow!
It's pretty funny. You should definitely cut that in.
So he's seen it 100 times. How many times have you seen it?
I've seen it twice.
Really?
When it came out in theaters, and we watched it for the review.
Oh no!
I mean, I've seen hundreds of clips of the film, and I look at see things on YouTube and whatever. But
I've probably seen this like 10, 12 times.
Oh, okay. I've probably only seen it all the way through, maybe twice.
Honestly, this is a movie like I didn't get to see it in theaters, and it's one of those movies that like I wish I could watch this in a movie theater.
Well, you know, I didn't hear about it
come around again
after. Like, I mean, Mortal Kombat was all over, but I didn't hear about Street Fighter the movie till like, sometime after the Mortal Kombat movie.
To be honest, marketing for it wasn't good at all. I remember a commercial as a kid and being like, "Whoa!" and freaking out. And I had one friend who went and saw it when we were kids.
Speaking of the marketing of the film,
some movies are like that.
I actually have the marketing tape for this film, where you know, like they send this to rental stores like this one, and they say, "Oh, you can buy Double Dragon, Junior, The War." And Street Fighter, the movie, and like they go, "See your rental profits on fire," and then everything's on fire.
Wow!
But I definitely want to
Handle
show
with care.
I definitely want to show a clip from this because they're like Street Fighter and they show like they show how much money like Time Cop made, and they're like, "This will do as good as Time Cop."
Just look at the numbers this guy racks up in the home video action market. From Kickboxer to Hard Target, Jean-Claude Van Damme is video rental dynamite, and the smash hit Time Cop continues to be one of the top rental titles for 1995.
And then they try and sell you these other movies like, oh, and you can watch Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger and The War, which I've never heard of.
Which, by the way, watching that tape, The War looks like it's the best movie on that list. I'm like, oh, that actually looks like a really good family drama with Elijah Wood.
Like, it's like got pencils and like
it's weird.
Yeah, I thought it was like you know that game for the Saturn, Clockwork Knight.
Yeah,
it looks like that to me.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
But you know, this is like something that Universal sent to places. But something that I appreciate the most about this film is that it opens up with a Universal logo with you know like the Earth like as it usually does.
Yeah,
and the logo comes over that.
Yeah, that was
kind
of cool.
I like when they include the branding.
Oh yeah, with the bison symbol. Yeah, that was actually that was really cool. Yeah. It was to the point where now whenever I saw like the Universal logo come in other movies, I expected the bison horns.
I want the bison. Like
Waterworld, it like goes into the
yeah, it is Bison.
I love Bison's logo, like the skull and the wing.
Yeah,
like that'd be like an awesome chest tattoo.
Yeah,
like,
that would. Actually,
I need to work on that.
It's funny you mentioned Waterworld because in the tape, that's the preview. There's Waterworld and Darkman 2 in the video game, but they show for some reason they don't show the home console version. Even though they say for Sega Saturn and PlayStation, they show the arcade one, which is actually completely different. It's more like Mortal Kombat, but it's awful. But I play it like a lot because they didn't make the people say like the actual words. Like I guess the guys who played like Ken and Ryu couldn't say like Ryu says Hadouken, and so does Ken, but he says like Hadoken. But when he does the dragon punch, he just goes dragon, 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 and he says dragon, hurricane. And he says hurricane when he kicks, but it's like hurricane.
Yeah, but it's not fair because you have all these actors and people that have never played the game, and they're like, all right, yeah, just put it in there, whatever. You played that game 6,000 times, you know?
So,
like
one problem I have with this movie is that it's trying to be realistic. But then there's the fight where Ryu maybe throws a fireball, it like flashes to white.
Yeah, because
I'm like, is that supposed to be the Hadouken? That's a kind of a weird thing.
They do all three moves there actually. Like he does the Hadouken, he does a hurricane kick, the Tetsumexumbuke, which he does that at one point, and Ken does a Shoryuken, but it's like the lame. He's just like. And he spins like it's the lamest Shoryuken. And Vega also does his like roll.
I will say like Guile's flash kick and all that stuff is like really well done.
Yeah, it was. You can tell him. He must have really did it. Like, But here's something. What the hell happened with Dalsum in it? Like,
oh my god.
That actor has no idea. I read an interview. He's like, they put a skull cap on me so I could rip my hair out, but I didn't know why. I didn't know if I was a mad scientist or I had no idea.
He starts out, he's got hair, he's a scientist, and he's creating Blanca, and and then later on, all of a sudden, he's like in the full like Dalsum kind of
and it's out of nowhere too. He's just hanging with Blanca.
It's weird because he has the mutagen drop on him. He gets electrified, and he has the chains. Like I figured, like he'd be like, "Oh, let me out! Oh, you can't reach it. Yes, I can." And like the arm comes out, and he's
because they don't even do that. There's no he never does a stretch move.
He needs to pull that Mac and Me shit where he just reaches out.
He spends the entire time getting beat up by that big dude.
Yeah, that was weird. Who's that guy?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, speaking of Blanca, there's a murder in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, he electrocutes him, right?
No. The footage that they're showing, like, remember that either he's showing him, like, terrorist footage, and Bison's like, oh, this is clearly educational, and it's like, the dude getting shot in the head, that's a real footage.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they show, like, actual...
Oh, is it like the Vietnam, like...
Yeah, it's like stock footage of, like, you know, like, conflict areas and stuff, but, like, they put it in the movie's PG-13.
Yeah.
It was almost G-rated. Like, it went from R, and then it went to G-rated, and Steven D'Souza was like, no kid's gonna want to watch this, so they added more blood. But, like, that shot is in the movie, and I remember watching, like, oh, that's pretty intense, and I looked it up, like, how is that in the movie?
Probably because it's, like, historical, like, stock footage.
I guess, but I don't know, if you're gonna put it in Street Fighter the movie, I think that's
I mean, the silly stuff in that movie. The thing is, you noticed, we didn't notice, and he's watched it 100 times.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't notice. And has that hurt you as a person?
No, I mean, like, when I was a kid, I didn't realize until, like, you know, I mean, because literally I watch this movie to this day regularly, and that's the thing, like, I actually did not watch the movie.
You're probably, I think
you just know it like back of your head.
I think you're gonna need some hypnotic therapy.
One thing I'll say too, another little subliminal kind of thing put in the movie. There's a part where when at the end when the Allied nations are storming Bison's hideout and everything, and there's that shootout with all the soldiers on the island. There's a Wilhelm scream.
Oh yeah,
like the guy goes. It's like Goofy screaming, and I remember as a kid, I'd be like, "Was that like Goofy screaming?"
I mean, speaking of the adult stuff and the places blowing up in the G rating, there's a part where Balrog and E Honda have like a prison sex joke. Do you remember that?
That was weird.
Yeah.
What's the line?
Can you give me a hand? And he's like, maybe in a month. I'm like, what?
Yeah, like as if like in 1 month he'll be like ready to. I'm like, that's weird.
I think.
Honda, give me a hand. We've only been in jail 2 hours. Maybe next month.
Could have worked. I really think this movie could have worked with less characters. Like, do Cammy, because Ming-Na Wen's really good in it.
She was Chun-Li, man.
Oh, sorry, Chun-Li.
And
have her team up with Ken and Ryu. Maybe save Balrog and the other guy for later.
It's weird because...
Get rid of Dalsum and Blanca. That has nothing to do with anything.
Well, that's another thing is the fact that, like, he's Carlos Blanca, Charlie, and it's like, no, Charlie is Charlie's Charlie in Street Fighter, Charlie is his own character in Street Fighter, like, he's an alpha, and he's in the new one, too, like, in 5, but he was the guy who taught Guile everything. Like, he taught him the sonic boom and everything.
Yeah, there's just too many characters.
Well, there's a scene where they keep doing, like, this with Zangief. Like, he's doing the thumb up the wrong way because he's supposed to be, like, the Russian, like, and they correct it at the end. But I'm pretty sure him and Van Damme never have a scene together until that.
Yeah, I don't think they ever meet.
So how's he even know about the thing.
I guess he's just like, dude, why are you doing that?
And this only happens once, where jokes usually happen like you have to have it once, twice, and then the payoff.
Yeah.
And this movie just like, that's just like, you know, the microcosm for the whole film, where they set things up, and then there's like a very weak payoff.
I want to see a cut of this movie where it's just DJ and Bison. Because DJ is so good in this movie.
Yeah,
just
he's
like,
pretty funny.
I love where Bison's doing his like one like last monologue about like we will fall together with the stoicism of the year, and DJ's just like backing out of the room and leaving.
You know what? I really want one of those Bison dollars.
Yeah,
there's a whole case of them in Thailand. I know that.
Yeah, worth
we get
£5 British pounds.
When we take the Queen hostage.
I saw a couple on eBay. Someone was selling like, or no, it was there's this like this Facebook group, and it's like all crazy movie props, and someone had a bunch of Bison dollars,
that would've been cool.
Original ones. I was like, man, he wanted like, I think like $10 per Bison dollar, so they're worth
$5 British pounds.
Yeah, they're worth. Well, how much is a British pound? Isn't it like $2?
So I think
I guess he's right. He's right. The actual exchange rate.
That's what it turned out to be. Wow. I felt this was a really good 90s film, and I think with the same type of set pieces and how they did it, this is what a live-action G.I. Joe movie should have been like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
If they did it back.
Probably would have worked better as a G.I. Joe.
This is more G.I. Joe than Street Fighter, for sure.
Yeah, especially the boat scene, like, it felt like, you know, they're trying to push a toy stealth boat.
Well, that's the thing, too. You know,
it's yet another movie with blue camo in it. Like,
I really think those are the Surf Ninja outfits.
Yeah, didn't you mention that, I think, like, that they just because didn't somebody from that work, or they filmed it in the same thing or something?
I don't know, but it could be something where like, hey, do you still have blue outfits from Surf Ninjas?
I want to see Street Fighter the movie versus Surf Ninjas the game the movie. I'd like to see this.
So, you know what I wish this movie was? Like, I think the things with me, this movie just wasn't like what I hoped it would be. Like, I wanted it to just see the game. Like I would have liked to see the plot taken out of it completely. And just every scene is fighting.
Yeah, it's just people beating each other up.
Yeah, but you know what movie actually got Street Fighter right for me? Is City Hunter with Jackie Chan.
That's on my list to do a review. Yeah. I love City Hunter because he looks like Chung-Li in the one scene.
Yeah, well, Jackie Chan, he does like a bunch of characters.
Yeah, he's Guile, I think.
He does Dalsim, I think.
Yeah, he's Dalsim.
Yeah. It's one scene in the movie, but if you want to see a good, like, I mean, just look it up. Jackie Chan's City Hunter Street Fighter scene. And it's basically like the best tribute to Street Fighter I've seen in a movie back then.
And it's
where
weird
they're doing the sonic booms, and they're basically, they're not trying to make it realistic at all. It's just the game as a movie.
Yeah. It's funny because I think that whole movie takes place on a cruise ship as well.
The rest of the movie, not so good.
It's Jackie Chan's Titanic.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
Jackie Chan's Titanic.
I guess for this movie, it's just kind of sad because I really like Stephen E. D'Souza. He wrote Die Hard, Die Hard 2. He was on top for a while, and then he did like Hudson Hawk. This is the only film he's ever directed, and he also wrote it. And I wish if the studio didn't put those limitations on him, if Jean-Claude Van Damme was alive for the filming and actually did his job, it would have done better. Because then after this, he writes Judge Dredd, and then a couple other movies, and then it finally ends with Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life. And then he hasn't written a major film since. So, but there's really good jokes, really good one-liners in this. And like, oh, this could have been
lost
something.
Your balls or whatever. Like
that scene. Or, actually, that whole speech is amazing.
Like, have you lost your mind? No. Have you lost your balls?
Yeah.
You lost your balls?
I like the one where it's just like, you would have to be crazy to do that. Well, luckily, Bison has driven me mad. It's like, you just admit to being crazy?
Luckily, Bison has driven me to the brinks of sanity or whatever it is.
Well, that's another thing, too. There's a part where actually, like, he says to Chun-Li, this war is not about your personal vendetta. But then he turns around, he's like, it's about mine. So I was like, so he is like
a maniac.
Taking an entire like he's sending these people possibly to their death.
The Allied nations.
So he could fight Bison.
I would have liked it more if he was an American, if Guile was from Belgium. Because that's where Jean-Claude's from, and it's like he has the Belgian flag instead of the USA.
Did
like
they get one shot of him just like combing his hair? Like
Oh, what do they do at the very end? The very end, they all do their poses, and he goes like that.
The one thing
There's
too,
so
they show
much in
the
that-
tattoo where he punches Bison, and then it's like a close up on his like arm.
Yeah.
And then
And he's
the
just
American
super
flag
flexed.
tattoo doesn't
Looks
have
weird.
white.
Yeah.
It's just red and the
And
blue.
and
it looks
skin
so
color.
good.
I love that good old red, white, and skin color flag we got up there.
A red skin color and blue.
Yeah, like-
I think if they made them Belgium, it could have been like a Belgian waffle. I kind of want to see that instead.
Well,
Wait, real quick, did Blanca and Dawson die? Did they just
I'm
sit
guessing
there?
so. They were
They
This
will
is the
be-
hardest movie to keep track of. Like what happened?
yeah.
They will be in the sequel.
Yeah.
It's constant diversion where you don't even think about it. It's like, oh yeah, what about that one part? Well, there's so much other shit happening.
Yeah.
There's like
You can't follow it.
you can't follow anything in this movie. Like you'd have to like map out like a detailed like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
There almost was a sequel to this movie. We were reading up on it today. I guess when Van Damme really needed his career back on track, he was going to try and do a sequel to this. Because this movie made money, but the reviews are so bad, they were smart enough not to make a second one. But he got real close. Dolph Lundgren was going to be in it. I wonder if he would have been
I don't know.
or something. And then just no one was interested. And then eventually they did that reboot that absolutely no one liked. Yeah.
Well, I will say, I swear, I love this movie. Like I have like such, and I know, yes, some of it is because I was a kid, I was stupid, and like,
Listen. I have to say this about movies in general. You're allowed to like a movie, even if other people don't.
Yeah.
And a movie's allowed to be fun.
No, but
all right?
I mean, like,
I love
legitimately.
Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But I like I really enjoy this film. I watch it constantly, and I don't like. I don't know. I just really like this movie. I have such good memories attached to it. Like I remember, it's like that childhood movie you always watch that. Later on, people are like, that movie's stupid.
Who hurt
like,
you,
"Shut
Kieran?
up."
Who
Yeah.
hurt
Like the
you?
Mortal Kombat movie,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think some people give the Mortal Kombat movie shit, but then other people,
Yeah.
But
I give
it's
it
like-
shit, and I love that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, a movie can be bad, and
Yeah.
you're still allowed to like it. I like a lot of bad movies.
Oh yeah,
Most of the movies
definitely.
I like are bad.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, now it's a different story. That's one of the worst films I've
Oh
ever seen.
yeah, no,
I
That
have
is
not
way
seen
worse
it.
than this.
I have never seen Annihilation.
So yeah, I really like this movie, and guess what? I'm gonna rent it again.
Oh, okay.
So
the late fee would probably be the same amount as running it again. So I
you know
don't
what?
Like,
Just keep it.
Can I just I'm just
keep,
gonna
just seriously.
I'm just
keep
gonna
it.
go home.
Okay.
Keep it.
And
I'm
watch
just
it.
gonna
Yeah.
write this up as damaged.
All right,
All right.
and I guess I'll see you guys later. It was
All right.
good talking.
Yeah, good
again.
talking to you. Hey, I'd like to option the rights to kick him till he's dead next time you come
Oh
in.
yeah, definitely. You got to talk to my mom about that one.
You got
she
it.
came up with it. So.
Yeah, she comes in from time to time.
I'm gonna rent Species.
Thank you for checking out Cinemassacre Rental Reviews. Take a look at our other videos, and if you want to get some sweet Cinemassacre merchandise, head on over to store.screenwavemedia.com.